Let's forget about the oligopolies, the the asset bubbles, the housing market, and pretty much everything that is wrong with the country. If you're my age, the most important thing for you is jobs, right? You're probably trying to enter your work into the workforce when you're 18 to 25, and you're trying to get a foothold in whatever industry that you're interested in. You would go for a degree or something of that sort. And the first reason why that won't be possible is that it's the obvious thing, of course, it was immigration. Basically, the Liberal government, or the common argument, was that Canada suffered from demographic collapse and it was declining slowly, and there were labor shortages in many areas. I believe that's a fine argument, and it did work. I mean, it is something that has to be fixed, but the way they went about it did not actually fix the problem at hand, right? The people that came here and the labor shortages or the labor surplus that we had were in sectors that already had high domestic demand for employment. Specifically, there was one instance that I remember. I used to work minimum wage part time, and I remember many of my colleagues were pursuing diplomas in stuff like tourism or some other irrelevant bullshit. And I don't really see how um, people who pursue such education would contribute positively to the country. It is not engineering or trades or anywhere else that we actually have a labor shortage. Most probably, once they finish their corresponding diploma, the thing that they would actually fill up is some specific field like, I don't know, minimum wage or admin assistant, sales, or things that are needed by Canadian youth. And that's the first obvious problem, right? And second, the main problem is the the buff one down south. I'm talking about the orange guy, if that wasn't obvious. He also started playing with tariffs, Guzman, and this led to a lot of uncertainty for businesses. I believe Kuzma has to be renewed soon, and uh, a lot of exports is Canada's export dependent, especially towards the US for its industries, and the uncertainty that brings with it leads businesses to cut down on discretionary spending, which means the main cost center for businesses is the workforce, right? So they will cut down on employment, and even among their people, um, the most vulnerable to problems at hand is entry level jobs that we actually need. So this is not a problem with the Canadian government by itself, but it is also a main contributing factor. And three, we have a new challenger or new problem that's gonna make everything worse. We're already in kind of a stagflationary environment. And now we also have the escapade in the Middle East, especially the blockade of Strait of Hormuz and the oil shortage that will be caused by everything that's going on there is gonna constrain businesses even further. It's gonna squeeze their margins even further as oil prices increases, and this is generally gonna make them want to cut costs even more. And and they are not going to expand their workforce anytime soon if they would expand it at all. And the fourth problem is also something new. It's not something that's has been observed economically in the macro level or historically. It's of course AI. So I'm a software engineer myself. I know what it's capable of doing and what it's not. And I don't think that it is going to automate all jobs, but it is going to make people who already have jobs more efficient. So if you already have, for example, a project manager or a HR person um, more capable and of more work, then why would you hire more entry level head admin assistants who are just going to cost more, and they're just going to do the grunt work that can be done by AI? So the entry level workforce or the employment demand will be further squeezed and skewed. And this is not observable right now, but it is going to become more apparent as adoption increases among companies. And finally, we have all the four reasons and why I think it won't change. And I think the only real solution is to just not be here.